Hello everybody, it's Jin Mindporn. Welcome back to the Art channel once again. How about that intro, huh? You like breaking the fourth wall? I sure hope you do. But hey, it's been a while since I've done commentaries, but I believe that today definitely calls for it because I got a cool illustration of my original character Better for you today in the style of Cyberpunk Edge Runners. This one deserves a little bit of discussion, to be honest, because it's one of my favorite pieces I've done in a while. And realistically, who doesn't like edgy over-the-top anime characters on the brink of cyberpsychosis? You don't? Well, too bad, I do. So I'll be walking you through the process, talking about some of the design choices, and stutter here and there, because it's inevitable. But hey, glitching out fits the aesthetic, right? So, we begin with constructing the character and making the pose look right. We're doing a little bit of a diagonal composition because I thought it would look quite nice with the dynamic pose, the flashy dynamic pose with a lot of foreshortening. And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm changing the pose of the hand because initially it was an open palm and the reference was actually quite an interesting reference. It's the little Pepe the Frog meme that's about to punch you, the very dynamic kind of meme. So I don't know, I just like the way it looked, so I decided to make it kind of the same. And yeah, that's the reference. But yes, I do change the pose of the hand because it wouldn't make much sense for the hand to be with an open palm because we're using mantis blades. And whenever you use the mantis blades from the game, you typically have a closed fist when you use them, so this is self-explanatory why I'm changing that. And I'm using some very interesting sketching pencil. Now that I look at it, it looks terrible, but it does not reflect my workflow anymore or what I use for tools. But hey, it gets the job done. That's all I'm gonna say. It got the job done for one of my favorite illustrations that I've done, especially for Cyberpunk fan art and stuff. What I would like to say is I've had a lot of trouble with the mantis blades. Maybe not a lot of trouble, but initially when I was looking for references, I could not find an accurate reference at all. For some reason, I watched videos. I'm just a very dumb person sometimes. Extremely dumb. So I didn't think about the fact that I have the game installed. I'm playing the game, Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm using a melee build. So then I thought, I have the game, why don't I just open the game, I go into the photo mode, and then I just take a photo of the mantis blades. It was immediately done after that, because I just got the perfect reference for the mantis blades. Before I got that perfect reference from the game, I experimented a lot with these mantis blades. I found very inaccurate references that I used, and then I kind of went in and made my own version of the mantis blades that do not look right at all, and it doesn't look like Cyberpunk, basically. But I went in there and I did it for some reason, and then I realized, I mean, what was I thinking? That was never gonna work. It looks terrible, it doesn't look right at all, but at the very least, my minimal intelligence came out at the end to go into the game and just take a photo of the mantis blades using photo mode. Okay? Now, why I thought it would be a good idea to just make up my own mantis blades is because I wasn't even planning for this illustration to go anywhere. I was planning for this illustration to go simply into a thumbnail for my gaming channel for a Cyberpunk video, which I scrapped because it was terrible and it wasn't interesting. So then I realized, wait a second, instead of doing this for simply a thumbnail, I could push this a little further and I could add to my professional portfolio or for my portfolio for professional purposes. Or on my Instagram. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to ink this terrible version of the mantis blades and then I'm gonna go back and change them. Now, again, I would like to say it does not reflect my current workflow. I did this illustration quite a while ago. To be quite frank, my fundamentals were not the best. I was just starting to do some better construction with characters. But if I want to be honest, I procrastinated learning the fundamentals until much later in my art journey. Now, I'm very deliberate with my inking. It's basically like I'm drawing graphics at this point. I don't like the way I ink here. I'm not really thinking about the line weight because I know that the whole illustration is going to be carried by the shading. So when your illustration is kind of both heavy on the shading and heavy on the line art, it kind of becomes overloaded with information in it. It doesn't look that great. At least I knew that back then when I was drawing this illustration. I would have liked to do a little bit more with this illustration because I did not add much color variation. There is a little bit of a trick to kind of compensate for the lack of gradients in the flat colors. Not a lot of ambient occlusion, it's just basically shading and multiply, using a lot of multiply and just shade and then just add some light, and that's basically it. But then I used a little bit of a trick with color dodge to add a little bit of color variation on the skin at the very least, because it doesn't exactly work with darker colors such as the clothes, because we are using V's signature little, you know, the leather jacket, the samurai jacket, and the black pants and the shoes that are, all of them are kind of they have darker colors, so color dodge doesn't work with those. I mean, it's okay, but the biggest difference you're gonna see is on the brighter spots, basically. But again, I am very proud of this illustration because it's one of the first ones that I made after brushing up on my fundamentals. I was extremely proud of the pose that I made because I constructed it with cylinders, which is kind of what I feel most comfortable with. Different people use different things, okay? You don't have to learn from me or try to do it the same as me. If you're just starting to draw, do whatever feels best, okay? But this is not a tutorial, let me just say that, okay? This is just a commentary over some cool illustration that I made. But if you would like me to do some tutorials, let me know in the comments below and I will do something like this. And when it comes to the shading, the main light source is from the left, and then I decided to split it and had another secondary one from the mantis blades, because in the game you can actually have like fire, poison, and lightning, I believe. And I always like the lightning ones. So I'm also adding the lightning effects on the mantis blades because it would have also looked cool with fire, but fire is a bit more difficult to draw in this specific style that we're doing here. So lightning seemed like probably the best decision when it comes to effects for secondary light source. And the lightning is quite easy to draw. You just it's just a very bright blue, almost white, and then you just add some outer glow. I am doing this in Photoshop, okay? I'm not exactly sure if you can do this in Clip Studio Paint. I'm not a huge expert on it, but I do draw in Clip Studio Paint nowadays much more than before, and this one is done in Photoshop, so some things are a little different. Yes, in the shading, again, it's blue. We're using multipliers, of course. Multiply with deep blue color, and then I change it to kind of more pink, purple. It's not even pink and purple, to be honest. It's kind of orangish and between red and purple, because it kind of fits more into the cyberpunk style. The Studio Trigger does like to do a lot of that for the anime. There's a lot of pink shading. You know, the atmosphere is kind of pink, purplish, and this is what I went for in this illustration as well. Keeping in mind that the key light sources from just the left, kind of the upper left corner, and then the secondary one is going to be from the mantis blades again. And after adding the rim lighting from the lightning effects, which is it's going to be blue, it makes it pop much more and it looks much nicer. Now in the video, I am in a time lapse. I was going for a little bit of a different background. I took a lot of inspiration from the posters and the splash arts from the anime, where there's a background of a city landscape, and I did this for this illustration because I mean it's very akin to Cyberpunk, and this is what we're doing today. Except the fact that the colors were terrible. I went for red, but then I realized that the character is wearing dark clothes. Is the leather jacket, which is dark brown, and then the pants, which are black. And the silhouette doesn't look good with the night sky and the pinkish red background hue. So I changed that immediately. I went for yellow, like the posters. And then it started to look much nicer. And that's basically it. Now, let's enjoy the rest of the time lapse.
Take that. Now.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed me yapping for 10 minutes, folks. If you did, then how about you let me know in the comments below and I'll proceed to make more. leave a like and subscribe. That'll keep you posted when I do, and I'll see you guys next time.